Hola, welcome to this session. Thank you for sharing the practice with me and thank you for taking care of your own health. Today, our session is about Satya, truthfulness, authenticity. So, as part of that practice, please adapt whenever you need it. And then let's enjoy the class. The idea is you have fun. So let's start with Ujjayi breath. Ujjayi breath, it is like diaphragmatic breathing. So you feel the expansion and the softening on the belly when you are breathing. That is the most natural breathing, diaphragmatic breathing. But for Ujjayi breath, you just gently, nicely close the throat a little bit. So that you produce a very gentle sound, like when a person is sleeping, very deep sleep, and you notice the sound. So you want to produce the same sound by gently narrowing the throat. So make sure your spine is long, you are seated comfortably, and then if you feel comfortable, then close your eyes. And then first of all, I start to activate diaphragmatic breathing. So notice the belly expanding and notice the belly softening with the exhalation. And maybe try to just close the glottis, just narrow it a little bit, so you start to notice a little sound when the air comes in into the lungs and when you breathe out. But it's a very soft sound that is for you. But if it doesn't feel comfortable and it's not right for you, then keep your diaphragmatic breathing as natural as possible. And then, as I mentioned, today we will practice Satya. We will connect with our truth, our authenticity. We will practice self-acceptance. We will work on the throat chakra, the center of communication. And we will open as well the heart center, a little bit the solar plexus, to work all this area in order to connect with our own truth and to start to connect it with kindness, the heart chakra, without judgment, and practicing this self-acceptance, self-love, and practice our truth with integrity, with respect. So keep your breath soft, natural. Try to keep a gentle Ujjayi breath during the practice. Try to not overcomplicate too much the breath. If you notice that that makes you overthinking, then just keep your diaphragmatic breathing and the breath as even as possible. So take one last deep, full, slow inhalation. Deep, slow, full exhalation. And then let's bring the hands in front of the heart center. Let's start with one Om together. If you don't want to chant the mantra Om, fine, take a long exhalation through the mouth. So inhale. Om. Then and gently release the hands on the knees, bow the head. And with the next exhalation, gently open your eyes. Hope you feel already a little bit more rooted down, more present. Let's start on the ground, but let's exchange the cross of the shins. And then let's start with a very soothing massage from qigong. Let's bring the hands towards the neck and then gently, nicely massage your neck. It's a very yin massage, but it's a nice way to start to activate this area, but first relaxing this area. Then let's just gently tap on the base of the neck, just very gently, nicely activating energy there. You can make a fist if you want, or just keep the hand open. Take a gentle massage, and then let's start to massage below the collarbones, and just opening and connecting with this energy in all the upper body. And then now bring the hands at the top of the hands together. Let's move towards the lower ribs, and again let's gently massage the lower ribs, the area of the solar plexus. And then just release the hands on the lower belly, one hand on top of the other. Close your eyes and notice how do you feel just for a moment. Maybe you notice some tingling, maybe some warmth, maybe nothing, fine, but just try to connect with the subtle feelings and sensations. And then let's move that nice energy. When you are ready, gently open your eyes. Release the hands on the knees. And let's go to all fours. So make sure you spread your fingers, keep the wrists below the shoulders, knees below the hips, knees as wide as the hips. And then with the inhalation, navel down, chest forward, chin up, shoulders back, away from the ears. And then with the exhalation, cat. Let's move the chin to the chest and the navel towards the back, towards the sky. Look towards your knees or towards the navel. And then once again, navel down. Inhale, cow. Chin up, chest forward, shoulders back, just arch your back. And then exhale, cat. Press the upper body away from the floor. Soften the neck. And then let's go to neutral spine. And let's press the toes on the ground. Press the upper body away from the floor. Press the armpits away from the floor, and let's bring the knees up. Start to activate your abdominal wall, and let's keep that activation, and slowly and with control let's bring the hips up. Let's go to downward facing dog. So bend one knee, straighten the opposite knee and the opposite leg, and just move gently, softly, to bring some movement, some lubrication on the joints of the legs, so the ankles, the knees, the hips. And then now let's bring the heels as high as you can. Bring the chest bone gently towards the knees, but keep your sitting bones as high as you can. And then with the exhalation, let's bring the heels close to the ground. If the heels are not on the ground, no problem. Bend the knees, soften the knees. But just keep your sitting bones as high as you can. And then let's look below one armpit and then the other, gently and nicely lengthening the neck. And now stay on the center. Let's look between the thumbs and let's walk towards the front of the mat. So keep the feet as wide as the hips, soften the knees, firm the abdominals, and with the inhalation, let's bring all the body up. In your Vishuddha, bring the arms up and let's interlace the fingers. So just keep reaching up, keep the lower ribs slightly in, the tailbone towards the ground, and with the inhalation, let's bring the palms facing up. So keep the shoulders soft, but make a space on the intercostal muscles, and let's bring the heels up. So soften the knees if you need so. We go for a little bit of balance to start with. And then maybe look up towards the hands, and it is more challenging than it looks, so maybe look up, maybe not. Just keep it a little bit playful, but bring the chin away from the chest. And then with the exhalation, heels down, arms down. But let's keep the arms parallel to the ground. So inhale, reach up, and then exhale, let's twist towards one side and look towards your back hand. And with the next inhalation, arms up. And then with the exhalation, the second side. Make sure you are looking towards the back hand. And then inhale, bring the arms up. Urdhva with the exhalation, hands down towards the ground. In Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, hands below the knees on the shins, lengthening the spine, crown of the head forward, the sitting bones back. And with the exhalation, hands down, let's step back to plank position. So connect with your strength, pressing the upper body away from the floor. Heels back, crown of the head forward, so the neck is long. And let's bring the knees down, heels up. Let's go for this gentle version of Ashtangasana. And let's go towards the ground. So let's bring the chest, the chin down to the floor, elbows in, and then with the inhalation, roll forward up. Let's sustain baby cobra, interlace the hands behind the back, shoulders back. Let's actually keep the top of the feet on the ground, the pubic bone towards the ground, but the chin away from the chest. Keep the neck long in the front of the neck, in the back of the neck, and the pubic bone towards the ground. So you create a space on the lumbar spine. And then with the exhalation, hands on the ground. And let's make the way to all fours. So let's make sure the wrists are below the shoulders, the knees below the hips. And let's extend the right leg back, the left arm forward. So with the inhalation, lengthen, lengthen. And then with the exhalation, bend your right knee, bring the left hand on the lower back, and then let's twist towards the left. Open your left shoulder. And then maybe you can grab your right ankle, or maybe not. I want you to really open the chest and your right knee as high as you can. You don't have to grab the ankle, but if you do, great. If not, great too. Try to move really the rib cage. So you create a space in the upper body for that twist, and the hand comes closer to the heel, to the ankle. And then with the exhalation, hands down, let's extend again the right leg back. And then let's move a little bit forward again, chest, chin down. If it's too much, keep the right knee down on the floor. With the inhalation, roll forward up. This time we can stay baby cobra if you want. So we can keep the hands on the ground. You can interlace the hands behind the back. You can go to cobra, or you can go to upward facing dog. Find the option when you enjoy the pose. And then with the exhalation, let's make the way to downward facing dog. Make sure your breath is steady. If you remember to keep Ujjayi breath, great. And again, you can do this pose, this next movement from all fours, bringing the left knee towards the nose, or bringing the left leg up in downward facing dog, 3-leg downward facing dog, knee to the nose and the foot outside of the left hand. So you're making a space. Let's bring the left hand towards the left knee and press that leg away from the chest. So you're opening. And again, the rib cage is moving towards the left side. So your left shoulder is moving away from the ear. And let's bring the left hand, the lower back. Maybe you can bring the right ankle towards the glute, and maybe you can grab the foot. Don't force it. That can cause a cramp. So don't force it. Open the chest. If you need to rest the hand on the lower back, perfect. As I mentioned, we are working self-acceptance. As long as you notice that you are opening the chest, that you are opening the hips, shoulders, then it's fine. It's your version of the pose. And then with the exhalation, hands down on the ground, the back foot down on the ground. And let's walk towards the back of the mat. So let's go towards the second side. Let's go for a moment to plank position, pressing the upper body away from the floor, spreading your fingers. Let's release the knees down, heels up. And then with the exhalation, this time chest, chin down, the hips slightly up. And then with the inhalation, roll forward up. So baby cobra, you can keep the hands down, hands away from the floor. If you want to go savasana, fine as well. Make a space in the upper body, on the neck, the shoulders. So you can stay baby cobra, cobra, or upward facing dog. Don't collapse the shoulders. Just make sure you're pressing from the armpits up. And then with the exhalation, downward facing dog. Actually, we go to all fours first. So again, keep the wrists below the shoulders, the knees below the hips. This time, let's extend the right arm forward, the left leg back. With the inhalation, just make a space. And then with the exhalation, bend your left knee, the right hand on the lower back, and open the chest. The knee, upper knee as high as you can. Maybe grab the ankle, maybe not. Don't force it. Rather explore the pose. And then with the exhalation, let's bring the hands down. Let's extend the left leg so the heel is pressing away from the hips. Let's move forward. And with the exhalation, chest chin down. You can bring at any point the left knee down on the floor. With the inhalation, roll forward up, your version of baby cobra, cobra, or upward facing dog. So keep pressing the chest bone forward, chin up, but make a space in the front and in the back of the neck. And then with the exhalation, downward facing dog. If you need to bend the knees a little bit, fine. Don't collapse the weight on the wrist, so press the armpits away from the floor. And enjoy the lengthening of the back of the leg, and the back of your body. So again, you can do the next movement from all fours, bringing the right knee to the chest, to the nose, or bringing the right leg up in three-leg downward facing dog, knee to the nose, and the right foot outside of the right hand. So in that, the toes are pointing slightly towards the right. Inhale, let's open and rest your right hand on the knee, so the knee is moving away from the hip. Rotate the rib cage so the heart center is pointing towards the knee. Take an inhalation, open, keep the neck long. And then with the exhalation, your right hand on the lower back. Maybe bend the knee and you can grab your ankle, but maybe not, you don't have to. Just gently, nicely open the shoulders, open the hips, and explore the pose. We are connecting with our truth. We are practicing self-acceptance without judgment, rather curiosity. And then with the exhalation, let's bring the hands down on the floor. Let's walk the hands again towards the front of the mat. And let's make the way to plank position. So just give yourself a moment to connect with the plank, with your strength. And if you notice it's too much for the wrist, please bring the knees down whenever you need it. And actually we will do that, but just for a moment, try to connect with the strength. Heels back, crown of the head forward, and then now knees down. We go to Ashtangasana. It's different than Chaturanga. We are working with the throat chakra, so this is where we work in this version. But if it doesn't feel right, you can go to Chaturanga. That is the body more parallel to the floor. So with the exhalation, roll forward, elbows in, chest chin down, so the hips are slightly up. And then with the inhalation, roll forward up. So you can stay in upward facing dog, cobra, or baby cobra. Make sure you don't have pain on the lower back and you don't have tension on the back of the neck. We are trying to open rather than create unnecessary tension. And then with the exhalation, let's make the way to downward facing dog. And then take a moment in downward facing dog to connect with your breath. Make sure the breath is steady. Perhaps you're still on Ujjayi breath, perhaps no one you want to bring it. Just notice the breath and try to keep it even soft. And then now you know you can do the next movement from all fours, bringing the right knee towards the nose, or from downward facing dog, bringing the right leg up, keeping the hips facing down, knee to the nose, and the foot between the hands. So with the inhalation, this time we go up, but our hips are facing towards the long side of the mat. We go to goddess position, so let's go. Keep the hands on the hips and let's bring the toes out towards the corners of the mat. And then with the inhalation, bring the arms up. And then with the exhalation, let's bring the hips low towards the ground. And make sure the knees are aligned with the toes, especially more or less the second toe. The knees are not falling inwards. If you notice the knees are inwards, just stay a little bit higher. As I said, we are working with self-acceptance. And that is the way to change things. Forcing them actually create blocks. So with the exhalation, let's bring the hands on the knees. Press against the knees, away from the hips. Inhale, chest up, and then with the exhalation, gently, nicely, let's move one shoulder towards the opposite knee. But try to keep the torso long and centered. And then let's exchange. So just creating a space on your intercostal muscles. We want to create a space between the vertebrae. So keep the crown of the head reaching forward and move slowly with control and trying to enjoy the movement. So allow the movement as well to be organic, not without forcing. And then one last round. And let's bring the hands towards the ground and let's walk the hands towards the front of the mat. Let's make the way to plank position. So again, connect with your strength in the upper body. We want strong upper body, strong arms to support our heart, our truth. So just connect with it even for a moment, especially, and try to keep it for a moment, but make sure you don't have pain on your wrists. And then knees down, heels up. With the exhalation, chest, chin down towards the floor. Make sure you don't force this movement. If you need to bring all the body down, fine. And then with the inhalation, roll forward up. We go to upper facing dog. You can stay in cobra or you can stay in baby cobra. Find the option where you can open the front of the body without create unnecessary tension on the back of the body, especially the lumbar spine, the back of the neck. And then with the exhalation, let's make our way to child pose. Just for a moment, lengthen the spine, really the hands. If you can keep the hands on the tip of the fingers, great. That activates the muscles on your back. Hips pressing towards the heels. If at any point child pose is not good for you, because sometimes the knee is bothering you, you can always lie down and go to the supine version of child pose. As I mentioned as well, just adapt whenever you need it and make sure you feel good. You are working a little bit, giving yourself a self-challenge, but with respect and integrity. So take a moment to connect with your breath, to make sure the breath is steady. Maybe you have the Ujjayi breath, maybe not. And as well notice how do you feel, where do you feel it. It's not only what we do, it's how we do it. And we want to do it with a lot of awareness. And then with the inhalation, let's bring the torso up. And we're going to practice Ustrasana. We're going to explore the camel position. So, something I like doing is just folding the mat to protect my knees. So, maybe you don't need it, but I prefer to be kind with my knees after years of practice. Sometimes they bother me, so let's be kind. Let's start with the hands on the lower back. So just that, you can gently press the lumbar, you can press your bum a little bit forward, your pubic bone slightly up without overdoing it, but just creating a space on the lumbar spine. And then let's bring the shoulders back and your chest bone up. So just start to create that movement, and your shoulder blades are moving towards the center of the spine, slightly up, supporting that opening on the heart center. The tailbone towards the ground, so you create a space on the front of the body, but also you keep a more or less an even curve, the best you can on the back of your body. So let's stay here a moment. Make sure you create that space. Your chest bone is moving up, away from the pelvis. And then let's go down. And this is the first version of Ustrasana. You can stay there. Maybe let's press the toes on the ground so the heels are a little bit higher. And then again, inhale, lengthening the pubic bone forward, slightly up. And then let's rest one hand in the same ankle on the same side. Let's rotate the rib cage towards that side. And with the inhalation, let's extend the opposite arm up. In my case, the right arm up. And then with the exhalation, we twist towards that hand, towards that ankle, my left ankle in my case. And then just allow the back bend and the twist to come at the same time. And then inhale, let's go up. And let's go towards the second side. You can always keep the hands on the lower back. So inhale, lengthen, and keep your hand on the lower back or on your ankle. Let's twist towards the second side. Inhale, extend, in my case, the left arm up. And then with the exhalation, let's twist towards the left. And let's keep that gentle back bend. And then with the inhalation, let's go up. And let's go to the full version of the pose. So you know now that you can keep the hands on the lower back. You want to open the chest. So with the inhalation, let's create that space. So you can keep the hands on the lower back, or you can bring the hands towards the ankles, and the ankles can be up, like I have my feet. Or you can keep the top of the feet on the ground, and then bring the hands towards your ankles. Don't force it, find that way where you can enjoy the pose, you can open up the front of the body, but you don't create compression on the back. And then the neck, you can keep looking forward, keeping the chin slightly in and tuck the chin towards the neck. Or you can look up, but the chin is moving away from the chest to create a space in the front of the neck, in the back of the neck. Breathe evenly. And then with the exhalation, let's bring the torso up. And let's just make the way to child pose for a moment. I'm going to unfold my mat. And then again, keeping the hands in the tip of the fingers, if that feels nice and right for you. You can also bring the hands towards the feet. Find a place where you are comfortable. You can bring awareness to how do you feel, where do you feel it, what kind of feeling sensations do you have after the pose. And make sure the breath is steady and your mind is present here with the practice, with your body, with your breath, rather than planning, analyzing, or remembering. An important part of the practice is to stay present. So with the next inhalation, let's make the way again to all fours, and we are going to go to the puppy. So again, gently and nicely, you explore the pose without forcing. So with the inhalation, lengthen the spine, chest forward up, a little bit like a cow. And then with the exhalation, let's start first bringing the forearms on the ground. Let's try to bring the chest close to the ground. Keep the knees, the hips aligned. And allow the chest bone to move towards the ground. Just a little bit there. And then you can stay here, or you can walk the hands towards the front of the mat. And maybe bringing the chest a little bit closer to the ground. Again, make sure you don't force your body. If you need to be a little bit higher, just stay higher. If you can go a little bit closer to the ground, fine. Try to not collapse your shoulders. Make sure the shoulders, the armpits are gently pressing away from the floor. And explore the pose with curiosity rather than with ego, or rather than the idea that you have to get any place. If you can, bring the chest towards the ground, bring the chin to the ground. Explore the pose with integrity, self-respect, and self-acceptance. And then with the inhalation, slowly, let's make the way again to all fours. And then let's go to child pose. So stay in child pose with the hands in the front of the body, arms towards the front of the mat. And let's bring the right arm below your left armpit. Look below the left armpit, so a gentle twist in a very nice way. Maybe you can walk your left hand a little bit more towards the center of the mat. And then inhale, let's go towards the second side. So extend the arms forward, lengthen the spine, and then with the exhalation, the left hand below your right armpit or the second side. Maybe you can walk the front arm, the front hand towards the front of the mat, more towards the center. Then inhale, let's go towards the center. Let's bring your elbows on the ground, palms together, and then let's bring the hands behind the neck. And maybe you can walk the elbows a little bit forward, keeping the hips close to the heels, to the ankles, and lengthen the spine. If you notice any tension, imagine you are breathing out that tension. With every exhalation, try to soften your body, to release that unnecessary tension, and as well release overthinking. And then with the exhalation, hands down, let's bring the torso up, and then let's stay on the ground. Let's bring the legs towards the front of the mat. Let's hug the knees. So let's go to this nice version of Navasana. So keep the shoulders down, the chest forward towards the knees. Maybe the feet on the ground, maybe the feet slightly up. Bring the hands behind the knees. And just stay there, shoulders down, neck long. And let's roll forward and backwards. So you're massaging your back. And when you push up, try to stay up. And just take it again playfully. And then let's stay up, 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 up. And then let's bring the sole of the feet on the ground. The heels a little bit away from the hips, shoulders back, and then make sure you press the shoulders back away from the ears. The neck is long and the chest towards the knees. The hands, the fingers are pointing towards the heels, and then with the inhalation, bring the hips up and press the armpits away from the floor. Try to adjust, make sure the heels are aligned with the knees. Your pubic bone gently towards the navel without overdoing it. Navel up, and you can keep looking forward towards the knees, or you can bring the head up, but making sure that the chin is moving away from the chest, creating a space in the front and in the back of the neck. And you don't collapse the weight on the wrist. This is where you want to press armpits up. And with the exhalation, gently, nicely, let's bring the hips down. Again, let's hug the knees, just forward towards the knee. And once again, let's roll forward, backwards, like massaging your back. And for the next one, let's stay on the ground, and maybe you want to go to halasana. Or maybe just keep the knees close to the forehead. If you do that, let's bring the hands towards the lower back. Maybe extend the feet, just find the version of the pose that works for you. If any of this version of halasana feels good for you, then just keep the hips down and keep the legs up. And just allowing your body to rest, but keep some gentle engagement on the inner thighs in Viparita Karani. Or maybe let's go to halasana. Just making sure that you are not creating any compression on the back of the neck. Actually, the back of the neck is soft. The weight of the body is on the shoulders, on the upper arms. Try to walk the shoulders away from the ears. Interlace. If the toes are on the ground, you can interlace the hands, and the hands move away from your body. If the feet are up, toes up, then keep the hands on the lower back, creating that nice support for your back. And keep the chin close to the chest. If you're in version of halasana with the feet down, keep pressing your thighs up away from the floor. Try to not collapse the legs. If the knees are close to the forehead, you can try to keep the hips high, more or less aligned with your shoulders. Now probably the breath is Ujjayi breath. Just bring a little bit of awareness towards the throat, towards the neck. And try to release unnecessary tension. Try to keep the neck long. And then with the exhalation, very gently, softly, slowly, let's bring the hips down. If you're in Viparita Karani, soften the knees, bring the knees towards the chest, and then roll left and right. And we go for a twist. It's a great way to, like a contour pose, especially for the back bends, but also for this forward bend that we did, for the deep halasana. And then let's bring the right leg in front of the left leg, maybe one grab, maybe two grabs, wherever it feels okay for you. Let's extend the arms, shoulder level, keep the hands aligned with the shoulders. Take an inhalation, let's jump the hips a little bit towards the right legs in forward, and then let's bring the knees towards the left armpit. And then with the exhalation, look towards your right hand. And gently and nicely try to move your right hip away from the right shoulder. And have normal inhalations and long, deep exhalations. And with the next inhalation, let's bring the knees up. Let's exchange the grab of the legs. Again, one grab, two grabs. Or don't grab the legs at all if it doesn't feel right. So now the left leg in front of the right leg. With the inhalation, let's jump the hips a little bit towards the left. And then with the exhalation, the knees towards, bring the knees towards your right armpit. And with the next exhalation, look towards your left hand. Make sure all the upper body, the shoulders, the neck are soft. And if you notice any tension in that area, take a deep inhalation and a long exhalation. Release that tension with the exhalation. And keep the normal inhalation but very long exhalation. And then inhale, bring the knees up, hug your knees, roll your lower back left and right. And then let's make the way to Shavasana. So options, you can keep the feet as wide as the mat, rest one knee towards the other. You can keep the arms along the body or the hands on your tummy, one on the lower ribs, the other on the lower abdominals. There is another option. Or you can extend the legs towards the front of the mat, keeping the toes out, hands on your tummy, nourishing yourself, or arms along the body, palms up in that opening and receiving gest. Find a pose where you are really comfortable. You can soften your body, you can release tension, and now it's like your body is melting into the ground. This part is really important because your body absorbs all the transformation, all the movement while it's resting, not while it's moving. So just make yourself very comfortable for Shavasana, for your body to embrace all this movement. And I will make a short sound bath for you to help you to create some silence on your mind. So try to keep your body really soft. And then observe your own breath. Now don't try to control or change the breath. Just keep natural breath. And then notice the thoughts coming. And then breathe them out. Make sure you don't get engaged in any self-talk. Allow the thoughts to come, but allow them to go. And try to create space between the thoughts and eventually silence on your mind. slowly, slowly bring awareness to your body. Start to move the toes, the fingers, your arms, your legs. And then when you're ready, stretch the arms, give a nice stretch to your beautiful body. Now draw the knees to the chest, hug your knees, give a nice hug to your own body. When you're ready, roll towards one side of the mat. Press the body away from the floor. Let's go to a sitting position. Cross the legs, press the hands and the knees. Keep your eyes closed. Keep your breath soft. Then take a moment to notice how do you feel. Hopefully you feel much more peaceful, much harmony. And from this place of harmony, peace, silence, it's much more easier to connect with our own truth and to create a very supportive relationship, a very honest communication with ourselves. And then we can align our energy, our thoughts, our words and our actions towards that truth. So let's bring the hands in front of the heart center. Let's chant the last time to finish the session. Take a deep inhalation. Grab your hands one against the other. Bring the hands in front of your eyes. When you're ready, open the eyes, release the hands. Thank you very much. Hope you enjoy it. Have a lovely rest of the day and namaste. Maybe see you soon.